first class of this batch. Everyone out there online, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Great. Mitesh. So, it's just a quick introduction and then we will begin. Yes, starting from here. Yes. What's a good name and just a brief introduction about yourself.
So my name is Navashni
Okay.
and I just graduated
In
in geology.
geology. Okay. From
From Chhattisgarh.
where in Chhattisgarh?
Chhattisgarh, Bastar.
Where in Bastar?
Bastar, Jagdalpur.
Where in Jagdalpur?
Jagdalpur itself is the Dharampura number, the quarter number 6.
Okay. You studied from? You studied from
Studied from
Science College. They don't.
Science College, Bastar Vishnuddha.
Bastar Vishnuddha. And you're schooling from?
Pardon, sir?
You're schooling from?
Schooling from Capita.
Kiwi. Great. Yes. And this is welcome to the jungle. Yes.
My name is Nitin Sawant.
Okay.
I completed my MBBS.
You're a doctor?
Yes, sir.
Ah, great. So we are safe enough. At least we have one doctor at disposal. Okay, great.
I'm from Maharashtra, Kolhapur district.
Kolhapur district. You have done your graduation in. Okay, you have done that. You have done your MBBS from.
From D.Y. Patil Medical.
Pune.
No, Kolhapur.
Kolhapur itself. Okay, great. Okay. Why you want to be in civil services, IAS, IPS, whatsoever?
Because I come from background where women are more dominated from, so this is my perspective that I want to raise my level in all the
Aspect of life. Okay. But how being in civil services will help you?
I can get inspiration and I can inspire others as well.
Okay, you want to go for that? Yes. Next साहब आप तो मतलब you can देखो social service मत कह देना. Already you have that opportunity to go for that social service, but why?
So I'm less interested in that.
Then why you went for your MBBS? घर वालों ने कहा था डॉक्टर बन जाओ इसलिए. हाँ? Unless and until say this is a field, unless and until you won't speak your heart out. Hesitation. देखो अल्टीमेटली कहानी कहाँ पे जाके रुकेगी? कहानी जाके रुकेगी इंटरव्यू पे. आप कितना अच्छा पढ़ रहे हैं, if you don't know how to express, things are useless. Yes, very good morning again at those who are watching us online, and there must be some people who would be surprised to see me. No sir, this is not a history class, this is an economy class. Yes, this is an economy class, and those who are in that batch, you have to tolerate me whole day. No issues. Yes, those who have came for the first time, I think I know Shiva, I know Mitesh, Abhishek Yadav. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, a very good morning, and we welcome you to LUKMAAN IAS. Can you please introduce yourself briefly?
Hello sir, I am from Uttar Pradesh. I live in Jaunpur here, Jaunpur district.
Jaunpur district.
I have, hello.
Yeah. I'm listening.
Sir, I have done BTech from IT
Okay.
and from Mumbai University.
Mumbai University. Okay, and why you want to be in civil services?
Sir, I want to be in civil services because it gives lots of opportunity to work for the people. Okay, the basic facilities at the district level can be administered well.
Okay.
If I get an opportunity, I would like to look after this basic services. Okay.
You
Which
just
are not
you just want to work for the providing grassroots.
yes, sir.
Okay, मतलब you feel that yes, there is some basic amenities which are lagging in our country.
Yes, sir. In the rural areas, it is not up to the mark.
Just please, Abhishek, can you please hold for a minute? Yes, sir. Sir is coming.
No, like sir will be joining from there.
Okay.
So he'll just interact for few minutes with
Sure,
the
sure,
students,
sure, sure.
and then we will begin with the classes.
Okay. And even I was
You
just,
can also.
yeah, I'm just interacting with them
Sir
only.
is just joining.
As soon as just give me a hint, I'll stop.
Okay, thank you
Yes.
everyone.
Yes, just Abhishek, I got your point that. But that can be done by many other ways. Politics join कर सकते हो, social service कर सकते हो, NGO बना के काम कर सकते हो. There are any number of ways. Why civil services?
So, civil services because of because there is no background regarding politics and other things, but civil servant I can get guided, and through this examination there is a process, and if I qualify I will get the opportunity to do so.
Great. Yes, coming back offline. Now this is a very new experience for all of you where online and offline classes are going simultaneously. Obviously we have certain restrictions. Some people are reluctant to join. Obviously you have your own concerns. Yes. Can you please introduce yourself? Just be seated, be seated.
Myself Rajinder from Mumbai.
Okay.
And I shifted just 10 days ago.
Okay.
And I joined LUKMAAN IAS and
Yeah, what you have done in your graduation?
yes, previous background. I've done bachelor using science and information technology.
Science and information technology, okay. And what's your, why you want to be here? I mean in civil services. That's a big question. जो दिल में है बोल दो. फैज ने क्या कहा? बोल के लब आज़ाद हैं तेरे, तो बोल दो. सर किसी से बदला लेना है, किसी को अपना दिखाना है, किसी वी कैन डू समथिंग, किसी को मतलब कहे ना बिल्कुल लैंग्वेज में कि औकात दिखानी है, तो होता है, ये भी एक मोटिवेशन है. दिस इज टू एवरीवन. मतलब समटाइम्स इफ पॉजिटिव थिंग्स कैन नॉट मोटिवेट यू, रिवेंज इज समथिंग व्हिच कैन मोटिवेट यू टू डू थिंग्स.
No, I've bachpan se usse inclined to.
Okay. Great. बचपन से inclined है. So मतलब फिर I think sir is joining as soon as he will join. Ansari sir. Yes, Mohit Kumar. If you have joined, okay. Good morning, sir. Ansari sir has joined. So over to him. Sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
And sir,
sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, back. अब यार ये थोड़ा सा तो एडजस्टमेंट करना पड़ेगा फॉर ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन स्विचिंग इन दैट. Just a second. Yes, I hope sir has very well explained that what your life is going to be. Now, am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. Yes, that was. I'll today. I'll be going a bit slow. I'll be going for a bit of interaction first because that is what I need to do. Okay, Mohit Kumar. I was at Mohit Kumar. Yes. Yes, Mohit. Can you listen? Okay, that's better. Yes, Mohit. Okay, Sagar.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Yes, Sagar. Can you please introduce yourself? Yes, you're audible.
So my name is Sagar Surendra. I belong to Gaya, Bodh Gaya, Bihar.
Okay.
And I have done my engineering in information technology from Kochi University of Science and Technology, Kerala,
Okay.
in 2015 itself.
Okay.
Then I worked for around 4.5 years.
Okay.
And then I have quit my job in December 2019 itself,
Okay.
before the COVID pandemic came out.
Okay.
And now I am preparing full time for the UPSC only.
Okay. So why UPSC? What was the reason you left? If that's not personal and more because now you are going to be in a public life, this is what you have opted for yourself. So why UPSC? Why civil services?
So in my job, I realized that I could not cope up with the I did not like the IT life much. That
Okay.
is one factor.
Okay.
Another factor is that I wanted to make changes in the ground level in my state, which is very backward like Bihar. So I've seen people. There are various kind of discrimination among the people.
Okay.
So I wanted to bring a ground level change in the society.
Great.
And I found civil service as a medium to serve the same.
Okay. Great.
And also there is job security, which is not there in IT field certainly.
Obviously.
So there are personal as well as societal causes.
Okay. Great. Nice to hear that.
Thank you, sir.
Arun Charles. Okay, not there. I know Shiva, Kavish, Vedanshu, Mayank. Yes, Mayank Jha. Okay, not there. Am I audible all? मतलब आवाज़ वगैरह सही आ रही है नहीं आ रही?
Yes, sir, you are.
Great,
Sorry, audible.
great. I think Akash Dikshit.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
Sir, I am from Kanpur. Right now, I'm residing in Pune,
Okay.
and I have been preparing for CSC for the past 1 year.
Okay.
I did my mechanical and BTech in mechanical engineering,
Okay.
and my aim is to clear the Indian Forest Services exam.
Okay. Why so? That's great. I mean, some things which is not very common to hear in this field. Mostly people are more inclined towards becoming an IAS or IPS or yeah.
Right, sir. So actually, with the kind of climate change crisis we are going on, the importance of forest services will only increase by the time, and the man and animal conflicts they are happening very frequently, and I also want to work for the tribal people. That is why.
Okay, you have the inclination towards that's great. It's nice. Good. Yes, Amit Thakur. अच्छा आप हैं नहीं है it's okay. वैशाली Okay. I haven't taken others' name. I think this one is left. Hupendra Kumar. I'm sorry, it's a bit far away. Okay. If I don't think so, it's fine then. So this is the very first class, and I'll see. Okay, something has happened. Okay. Meanwhile. Okay, let them do. So, देखो सबसे पहले and let us do that. What is the difference between coming here? I mean, preparing for civil services. ये भी तो exam है. What you feel कि अलग है या अलग चीज़ है? Yes, I was just interacting. So first thing first, you have to understand, because many of people have attended. Yes, that's true. I teach history also. And I teach economy too, doesn't matter. Hello. हर किसी की अपनी TRP होती है, मेरी ये है. So, yes, those who don't know me, let me introduce myself. Myself, Dr. Mohammad Zia, and I'll be taking your history and economy. And as far as my qualifications are concerned, so yes, I've done my graduation in science. Then I didn't like science, like some of you said, na sir, को IT अच्छा नहीं लगा, मुझे भी science अच्छा नहीं लगा. I moved towards humanities. I did my MBA in economics and business management from the Aligarh Muslim University. I was the topper of my batch, the gold medal. Then I qualified NET. Then I did my doctorate from University AMU itself, and then yes, after that I did one course from the Harvard Business School, and that was entrepreneurship in emerging economies. And I worked with NCERT for 2 years. अब जिनको पता है कि that's why people who know me, I teach history, I put more emphasis on studying NCERT, and NCERTs are always considered as the Bible or Gita of this examination. The reason to that is क्योंकि जब वो the process through which those books or those texts is developed, it goes through immense research. It's not like someone has written like the other books which are written by one author, he has just But when I have been the part of that brainstorming session whenever we were developing content and that part. So that is very important, and then I'm teaching here. So this is about me, and the most important thing. Yes, Mohit, hi. I read your message. Yes, it's okay. So just can type a brief intro of yourself so I can know a bit more about you. Well, the first thing first that you have to understand before studying any subject, leave economy or history or polity whatsoever. The most important thing is approach. What is the difference? You all have attained higher education. You have been to colleges. Some of you have gained even professional educations, engineers, doctors. Doesn't matter if you are not having engineering or a doctorate degree. Still, they are as relevant as any other course. And the difference, I'll tell you what is the difference and why UPSC is tough. This is very much true that UPSC is tough. The reason it is tough, because till date, from KG to your PG or UG, whatever you have at stage you are, our education system has just tested our memory, nothing more than that. हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम ने has done nothing more than testing our memory. When you are in your class, primary schools teacher कहती थी याद करके आना. No one told you या no one asked you कि समझ के आना. The problem why UPSC stuff, सर पढ़ तो क्लास 6, आप कोई पूछेगा कहाँ से शुरू करें तो क्लास 6 के NCERT से शुरू करो if you don't have a fundamental ground for that. Why? Because sir, is it we have done graduation and masters and doctorates and we have worked and everything, and then you are asking us to study class 6 NCERT? Yes, because you have just read that, you haven't understood that. The difference is understanding. Just a quick vote in class and online too. How many of you find economics boring? 1, 2. ठीक है. Yes, anyone? Mitesh, Shiva, Mitesh find it boring, huh? Shiva, everyone. This is a vote to everyone. Okay. Pursuing law from do you? Vakil साहब भी हमारे साथ. Great, Mohit. Doctor, Vakil, everyone is here. Yes. So I just asked everyone. See, the more and then those who can come to class, please come to class. मतलब इसलिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि Sagar is saying that economics is the most relevant in the current times because we can understand what's happening currently around us. हाँ, ये भी एक और चीज़ है. Currently सर बहुत कुछ होता है and mostly people who are coming from various backgrounds, they have certain political allegiance or they have tilt towards a certain political ideology. It doesn't matter. We are preparing for civil services. Civil services is something which is constant, which is static. Why? Government will come, government will go, but you as a bureaucrat, as a future bureaucrat, you will be there. So जो भी आपको लगता है कि अच्छा बुरा कोई political party अच्छी लगती है, that's your choice, but don't try to display. Yes, there are certain things that we need to understand. And another thing that we need to understand when we are studying economy, now let us come to the topic. I think अभी किसी ने बताया नहीं कि कितनों को boring लगता है, मतलब बता दो, then I'll come, I'll deal it that way. If you don't like, it's okay. मैं थोड़ी कहूँगा क्लास से चले जाओ. My job is to make it interesting. Yes. Now, just say yes. Who find? Just type yes. I want to see those who find it, sir, ये interesting नहीं है. It's a dry subject. इसमें कोई शक नहीं है that economy itself is a dry subject. Now the reason to that is, फिर वही सबने बोला याद करके आना, किसी ने नहीं बोला समझ के आना. And one thing, and the first and the foremost difference that we see in the syllabus of UPSC is that once the subject is economics, but what UPSC is asking is this. Technically, subject is economics, but what UPSC is asking? UPSC is asking that UPSC is asking, or the syllabus talks about Indian economy. So it's something, it is not just something which is related to money and banking or financial services. Basically, what happens that you must be going through your current affairs and you are reading a like newspaper daily, and economy as a separate page is there. And in that newspaper, most of the times, those people who are not from economics background, it is very difficult for them to understand the terms, the fundamentals that are written. वो बोल रहे हैं the GDP at PPP is this. चलो सर GDP तो समझ में आ गया because of the fluctuation in GDP from past few years, we at least common man of this country knows what GDP is. लेकिन वो PPP क्या है? अब PPP economics में दो मतलब निकल आते हैं कहीं it is purchasing power parity, somewhere it is saying it is talking about public-private partnership. There are various terms. My target here, see, I have a completely different approach. I don't teach with how traditional economics is taught. The reason to that is you have to be very much vibrant, especially for this subject. Because if I take, let's say, talk about your preliminary examination, and if I take an average of last 7 years, average 20 questions, and it can reach up to 23, and sometimes it has reached up to 27. It is coming from this subject out of 100. Now you will say, sir, wo to current affair, to what they are asking. Mostly now you see that the questions in preliminary examination are of what nature? Statement nature. There are statements, and then you have to identify of them which are correct, which are incorrect. This is a very common pattern now they are following. What they do is let's say there are 3 statements. One statement, or I'll give you one very typical UPSC preliminary exam question example. Consider the following statements related to MSP. MSP सबको पता है, ठीक है? क्या होता है? नहीं, मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस, खेती किसानी से रिलेटेड, ठीक है? MSP, good. Number 1, MSP refers to minimum support price which is declared by the government on recommendation of CSCP and such on. Statement 2, MSP was first, the concept of MSP found its history way back to the market reforms of Firoz Tughlaq. Statement 3, at present MSP is given on 24 crops. Now you classify, sir ये history का question है, ये current affair का question है कि economic question है. Now the nature of the way UPSC is asking question is changing. Now they are also shifting from the conventional ways, एक question एक subject. No, they are integrating themselves, they are evolving themselves, and this is what is visible in past 5 years. They are evolving the nature of asking questions, and when they are evolving, we as an individual or as an aspirant, you also have to evolve yourself. पढ़ना नहीं है, सिर्फ रट के काम नहीं बनेगा, नहीं चल सकता है. Without any much, एक दौर था कि Eastern UP and Bihar had a good hold over the selections in UPSC, and it's true. इलाहाबाद से लेके नीचे तक जाओगे तो अच्छा सिलेक्शन मिलता था. Now that ratio is gradually declining. You know why? Those people are very hard working, and वहाँ थोड़ा सा वो मतलब they have a good memory. People from that side they are hard working, तो वो याद करते थे. तो जब तक UPSC memory based question पूछ रहा था, it was good. Now what they have changed. UPSC every year there is a surprise element in UPSC preliminary examination, especially. Mains में उतना नहीं मिलता है, लेकिन preliminary examination में तो हर साल कुछ ना कुछ surprise element होता है. So we have to be ready for that. Okay. What I'll be telling you is I'll be starting from the very fundamental, and again the day there's another batch, parallel batch which is going on, and few people are here of that batch whom I am teaching history. And I told them day 1, पहले 5 दिन कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, कोई बात नहीं. First 5 days, no issues. You just give me your 10 days. 10 days as in 2 weeks. 10 days as in 10, not 2 weeks. That's it. हाँ, उसके बाद भी समझ में नहीं आएगा तो then it's my fault. But if you will say sir day 1, I know many of you are not from economics background. Economics हमारे क्लास 10 तक उतनी अच्छे से पढ़ाई नहीं जाती. अब थोड़ा बहुत इंट्रोड्यूस हो गया है क्लास 10th के सिलेबस में, 9th 10th में. But generally those who are opting for humanities in class 11 12 they opt for economics, and no, those people are very less. So you just have patience. First and the foremost requisite of being a UPSC aspirant is patience. Why? डॉक्टर साहब हैं, डॉक्टर साहब 5.5 साल लगे ना. And when you are saying 5 and 5.5 years, roughly 5.5 years if I'm not wrong, and you're just waiting that let us cross that mark and then we will get something. Same is with UPSC. जितनी patience के साथ चलोगे, patience के साथ चलना है, धीरे नहीं चलना है. There is a difference between going slow and going with patience. We have to follow patience. Patience लिख लो बड़ा बड़ा कहीं पे. Patience is the key. नहीं आएगा समझ में, 3 दिन तो कुछ नहीं आएगा, मैं बता रहा हूँ. हो सकता है, मतलब possibility, there is a possibility you may not get anything for first 3 days. Doesn't matter. It's a slow process. IPL शुरू हो गया कल से. T20 cricket. This is a test match. And when you are going in a test match, ideally those who like cricket, and I again and again give example, you have to plan session by session. Then you have to wait for 5 days. And if you will say test match, rather this is a test match series of 5 test matches. It's a long series where you have to plan accordingly. Okay. So let us begin already. तो लोग सर पढ़ा तो रहे नहीं, बातें करे जा रहे हैं ऐसी. I teach in this manner only. So before understanding the phenomena, let's say, the first thing first is what is economics? जो आता है बोलो. Economics is boring, great.
The study of finance related to various institutions and nations.
ठीक है, acceptable. Yes.
Demand and supply.
That's it. It's okay. Good. Good. It's really good. Yes, Shiva. What is economics?
So it relates to production and whatever the consumption from the whatever the industries and everything we calculate and balance for the society dollar as well as the consuming dollar from the
ठीक है.
factories to consumer.
From factories to consumer. ठीक है. मितेश, अर्थशास्त्र क्या है? What is economics?
Policy related matters.
Policy matters. Okay. Abhishek. Anyone else? Kabir, Shwetanshu. Yeah, Abhishek.
Yes, sir. It deals with the supply of money, the production of goods, and trade and other things.
Okay. Yes, Mohit, if you can. Okay. Shiv Shankar.
Sir, economics is like it, calculating everything from formal sector and informal sector,
ठीक है.
taking the demographic attributes, everything and including and studying them together.
Kabir. Good.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So economics is all about a rational decision about how to use the scarce resources.
How to use the scarce resources. Good. Shwetanshu.
Economics time we said that interaction of people in the production and demand of the market
ठीक है. चलो. मान
and
लो.
uses of the scarcity of the resources.
Scarcity of the resources. Okay. Utilization. Okay.
Yes, sir, utilization of resources.
Yes. Ali has said the study of how money is being utilized and other resources as well. Yes. Okay. Mayank.
It is basically what to produce, when to produce, and how much to produce.
चलो simple सी definition दे दी, how to produce, when to produce and all that. Yes. Okay. Now, yes, if I just sum up whatever you people have said, economics, you can note down those who are coming it for the very first time. It is the study of production. Economics is the study of production, distribution and consumption. Production, distribution and consumption of goods and services in a society. Or rather, or you can move on, or one more definition you can write. Economics is the study of rational allocation of scarce resources. Rational allocation of scarce resources in order to get maximum benefit. Now this benefit, when we are saying that yes, in order to get maximum benefit. Now when we are talking about economy or resources, हमारे पास what we have this planet. Whatever resources we have, our resources are restricted to this planet. We can't go beyond this. Okay, and so one thing is for sure that the resources are constant. वो limited हैं. There is a scarcity of resources, and the population, it is increasing day by day. Fine. Now how to allocate? Economics is all about how to allocate these scarce or limited resources to this whole population, to all the countries. Now, I'm talking about economics as a whole. We have to devise some method. Like abhi, you did COVID duty. At that point of time, you must have seen कि कितना limited चीज़ों का stock था, and that is also economics. The point at which you were doing your resource management. One of my other student is a doctor. He said, "Sir, वो mask N95 mask that we used to get for our when we were doing COVID duty, that was also given on record." I don't know about other hospitals. I'm talking about Delhi hospital. So that is geology पढ़ा है ना. Minerals, ores, they are limited. It is not something which is the minerals or the ores or whatever we have below the soil is not something that can be made in a day. It has gone through a process of thousands, hundreds and thousands of years. And what we need it immediately. So this is what economics talk about. Economics talk about the allocation of resources. और बहुत basic term में कहूँ, economics talks about how to minimize the inputs and maximize the output. Now this output is not necessarily monetary or materialistic. It could be social welfare. Output, whenever we are talking about output in a very generic sense, output का मतलब सिर्फ ये थोड़ी है कि पैसा सबके पास ज़्यादा आ जाए या सबके पास प्रोडक्शन ज़्यादा आ जाए. आउटपुट का मतलब ये भी है कि जो सोशल वेलफेयर की बात कर रहे हैं, हेल्थ सर्विसेज आर आल्सो एन आउटपुट ना. एजुकेशन सर्विसेज इज आल्सो, एजुकेशन जो सेक्टर है वो भी तो आउटपुट दे रहा है. So when we are talking about economics or what economics do, it studies these things. Now this economics has two branches. Yes, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now when we are saying economics or allocation or rationalization of resources, rationalization of economic resources. For example, I have a salary, वो मेरा level है. I have a consumption pattern, I have a family, I have a consumption pattern, I have certain likes, I have certain dislikes, I like some product, I don't like some goods, I want to take services, I don't want to take certain services. Now what I do the day, when we get salary, what we used to do, we have planning. How we will spend this money. Now what it has done, that this is being done at my individual level. I am doing certain things now. For example, there is a company, there is a firm. They also have a budget, they also have economic resources, they also have materialistic resources, human resources, and they are doing what? They are doing allocation. फाइनेंस में इतना जाएगा, मार्केटिंग में इतना जाएगा, एडवर्टीजमेंट में इतना जाएगा, प्रोडक्ट की पैकेजिंग में ऐसी होनी चाहिए. They go for. So when we are talking about individuals, now individual could be a company, individual could be as a person, or it can be one good. Understand the economy of tea. Now we are just talking about one good, that is tea. This is what? This is microeconomics. So when we are talking about one thing, it may be one individual, consumption pattern of an individual important. Consumption pattern or the economy or the financing economic activities of a firm, that will be important. So when we are doing it at one level, so you can write down. Microeconomics studies the behavior. Microeconomics study the behavior of individual economic units. Individual economic units. Example, price of a good, profit of a firm, expenditure of a person, etc. Got it? What is microeconomics? So when we are studying it at individual level, but सर वो सरकार भी है, बैठी हुई है, बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं, जीडीपी की बात करते हैं. We are talking about GDP, we are talking about we are talking about a $5 trillion economy, we are talking about n number of things. And that is not at all concerned, whatever those figures, whatever those targets are coming up, they are not something which is individualistic in nature. That is something which is talking about economy as a whole. It is talking about economy as a whole, and that is what macroeconomics is concerned. We are talking about a larger picture. We are talking about a larger picture. So you can write if you want. Macroeconomics studies the economic system as a whole. WHOLE. That is, it takes into account. The aggregates and the averages. So macroeconomics is a study of aggregates and averages. Obviously for taking average, at least you need two people. तभी तो average निकलेगा. But when we are talking about economy as a whole, we are talking about economy as a system. We are saying that this is at macro level we are talking. And mostly our study means for what our syllabus is concerned about, it will be talking about this. Very few points are there where we will be talking about any individual. Because what our syllabus says in UPSC, it says Indian economy. Means we are talking about macroeconomics. Okay, any doubt out there? Clear? Basic definition. Now, if we talk about, sir, yes.
It will come everything, sir, regarding that size and everything will come, sir, peak production. Then how we can able to calculate the micro, sir? It will be coming from production level to dispatching level, everything will come. Agro tools and everything.
You are saying that why a firm will be, why the economy of a firm will be taken as one?
Yes, sir.
Why not? A firm is one individual. That's one product we are talking about. Obviously, your income, if you are talking about an individual, no one is in isolation, no? If you talk about factors on which your income is dependent, there are n number of factors. Your consumption pattern, your working pattern, your habits. So you will not say that, sir, there are n number of factors, internal or external, which are affecting someone, and we can't say. It's not about the number of factors. It is the number. It's the unit. What is the smallest unit? Consumer. So consumer has a one unit. Now his taste preferences may vary. If we talk from the production or the supply side, what is one unit? Who is supplying you? Market. What is the unit of market? Firm. That's why it's one. So how a firm behaves, that's microeconomics. Okay. Now, yeah.
So under a particular industry, there are so many firms, but sometimes the industry itself is calculated as a micro unit.
Yeah. वो आप आगे चल के समझाता मैं. चलो, good. It's good. Yes. Sometimes we talk about agriculture sector. Sometimes we talk about one industry, how one industry is behaving. Happens. So whenever you are talking about one unit, it could be one fundamental unit of any whole thing that is micro level. Okay. So yes, we were talking about. So where, sir, you said, sir, this is. Let us. I'll tell you. I'll start with features of Indian economy. So the first part after understanding definition is features of Indian economy, and as the concepts, like whatever concept will follow, whatever the features will follow, at the same time I'll, side by side I'll be telling you the concepts or the fundamentals which are related to that. Okay, I'm not going first we will study fundamentals and then we will see the application and then we will go for how it is applied in the contemporary part. It will become a very long process. What I'll do is first, like we're starting with Indian economy, the features of Indian economy and whatever concepts will follow, हम वहाँ पहले fundamental समझेंगे और फिर उसका impact देखेंगे. Broadly, in world economy or in economy as a whole, when we talk about country, the economy or the countries are divided into two categories. Sometimes you go, there are certain international organizations who are divided into 3 and 4, but largely there are two countries, underdeveloped and developing. You will say, sir, developed countries. No one says that we have developed ourselves because that means a saturation. Developed, it's past, it's in past tense. So generally we say that, okay, developing. America is also developing, yes, developing with a faster pace, developing at a, with a longer period of time. So we'll say there are generally two types. One is underdeveloped, another is developing. Now what is the criteria to do this? What is the criteria to divide this? When we talk about the sub-Saharan African countries, they are LDCs, they are classified as LDCs, least developed countries. When we talk about India, Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa, we call them as the fastest or developing economies at a faster pace. When we talk about in general Western Europe and America, we say they are developed economies. Developed means, that doesn't mean that when we are saying that they are developed, it means that their development process is over. No. Developed means they have achieved a level, or developed economies have achieved a certain level of development, and even they are going beyond that, which is still something we have to achieve as an economy. Okay, if I ask you people, just a quick one, what are the features of Indian economy? And I say, if I ask you कि Indian economy को समझाओ, क्या character है, क्या बताओगे? Just short and sweet. Okay, very good. Mixed economy.
जहाँ फाइनेंस खर्च होते हैं,
तो सबके होते हैं. Next up. Agrarian economy, very good. Agriculture based economy. Shiva would be very happy to hear agrarian economy. Your one batchmate is Shiva, he is obsessed with agriculture. Yes. Shiva?
Mostly Indian economy has been dependent on agriculture for most of the days. What it means, compared to other countries, we are the higher in production of any food grains or in some food products. That's why the economy fluctuation, compared to developed countries, they have collapsed suddenly due to they are only dependent on the market and only last stage of the development. They will take only the product, end of the product. They will not take any from the group level. That's why the economy they is not able to.
Shiva, what I asked you?
Features of Indian economy.
Just give one word answer.
Yeah, Indian economy is based on agriculture.
That's it. Because when obviously this is a pre-cum mains part. We have for both. And the biggest restriction the biggest challenge in the mains examination is you have lot of knowledge and you have restrictions of words. That is very difficult. कई बार लगता है like if something I'll ask you on health system, you can speak for like 2 hours. Or something I'll ask you about geology, you can speak for 2 hours. But I'll say define geology or define the status of health like for you or for you define the sector of or critically analyze the digital India. You will say, sir, I am from IT sector, I can go for like this much, but I'm saying you 100 words, 10 lines. This is why UPSC is tough. You know a lot. After 10 months you will be like, oh, हिस्ट्री पे भी कमांड है, पॉलिटिक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भी आता है, इकोनॉमिक्स भी आती है, ज्योग्राफी भी आता है, एनवायरनमेंट इकोलॉजी भी आता है, आर्ट एंड कल्चर भी है, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस भी है, एवरीथिंग, एथिक्स भी है, यू नो अबाउट एवरीथिंग. सोसाइटी के बारे में बात करोगे, इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी के बारे में बात करोगे. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू विल से यू विल बी हैविंग 4,000 words to write, 400 lines to display your knowledge. That is why you have to evolve. Yes. So whatever, that's why in the beginning only I told you, short and sweet. Now those, I have to change the mode. When there was a class, I used to ask everyone, but obviously in online it would be very difficult. So whenever I ask a question, all of you just type it in the chat box and send it here, because it would be very difficult for me to interact with everyone individually now. Okay. Yes. So if we talk, yes, just 10, 20, 10, 15 seconds to all of you, just in one line define what the feature of Indian economy. In the meanwhile, I am not stopping myself. So one classification, I said that yes, its countries are divided into developing economies, or we call them underdeveloped economies. Sometimes we call them as the least developed economies. And what is the criteria to do that? There is one parameter which is known as per capita income. Shwetanshu is a mixed economy, lower per capita formation, lack of capital formation, lower per capita income. Yes, lower per capita income. What is this per capita income? Per capita income means कि जो भी population है, whatever is the population of a country, what average one person is earning per year. Okay, what person is earning per year. And this we calculate just by a simple formula is there. Per capita income is equals to national income upon population. Simple. Like जैसे आपकी कोई income है, आपकी कोई income है, मेरी कोई income है. We all have some income, and when let's say we club that for all the individuals of a country, it will become national income. I am not going into the deeper concept. वो बाद में आएगा. अभी इतना समझो. We can say ना, let's say like you are from Chhattisgarh, you are from Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra. I'm sorry, Maharashtra. So first what we'll do, we'll say okay, people from Chhattisgarh, okay, average itna earn kar rahe, and they are having a Chhattisgarh's income is this much, or national income. So we can say, and what a country is earning. So whatever all people are earning, the total of that. Now you may be earning more, someone may be earning less, possible, but we are saying no, that is not a reflection. What you have to do, you have to take an average. Now that average is per capita income. So national income, how to compute national income will come later on. National income, देश की आय, देश की income divided by population, then you will get per capita income. But is that reflective? Because for comparison, this per capita income comes in two values. There are two values to this per capita income. Number one, nominal. Another is PPP. Now, if we will compare, okay, Shwetanshu has given a whole list, poverty, and अरे एक word पूछा था, एक line पूछी थी, lack of mobility of market, technologies, consolidated, outdated. I'm sorry. Okay, good. Now, yes. Now we have to compare countries. When you have to classify countries, how classification can be done? Because classification is not possible without comparison. Am I right? Is classification is possible without comparison? No. If I have to classify students in the class, what I will do? Chalo marks leke aao. Okay, so we have to compare countries, and how we will compare countries? We will compare their per capita income. We will compare their per capita income. कि इनकी per capita income कितनी है, इस basis पे हम तय करेंगे that on the basis of their per capita income, what we will do, we will see that whether they are developed or least developed or underdeveloped or developing, whatever you want to call it. Now, how to do that? So there are two. One is nominal value, another is PPP. PPP means purchasing power parity. purchasing power parity. Now we compare. For example, what is the exchange rate of dollars? Which idea?
Near to
72. Let's take in for ease of calculation. We'll take 75 or 70. Let's say. Let us assume that 1 USD is equals to rupees 70. Let us assume just for ease of calculation. ठीक है? Sir, around 75 years. Let's for ease of calculation I've used 70. Now, does that mean that someone who is earning $1,000 in America is equivalent to 70,000 rupees in India? Does that mean? Or if I go other way, does this means that whatever goods that he will purchase in $1,000 in USA, the same amount of goods he will purchase in 70,000 rupees in India?
No, sir.
तो फिर ये एक्सचेंज रेट क्या हुआ? ये तो कुछ गड़बड़ चीज़ बता दी सर आपने. मैंने क्या बताया? तो रोज आ रही है. एवरी न्यूज़पेपर हैज अ स्मॉल कॉलम ऑफ एक्सचेंज रेट्स. क्या हुआ? मिलता इतना ही है. लाइक इफ यू विल गो फ्रॉम नो इफ यू वांट टू गो टू अमेरिका, आप यहाँ एयरपोर्ट पे जाओगे, आप वहाँ के एयरपोर्ट पे जो भी एक्सचेंज करेंसी करवाओगे, अपने बैंक से कहोगे, तो वो वही रेट देंगे जो वो न्यूज़पेपर में आ रहा है. दे विल प्रोवाइड द सेम रेट. But does that have the same purchasing power? Now, this is a bigger question. Yes. Exchange rate is for international trading. Yes. Now, what is happening? All the transaction is going on in general in US dollars. Whenever someone has to deviate from it, वो कहते हैं कि हम कुछ और currency, but let's say US dollar. Now, this is a complete different story because. This is a completely different industry because this is based on the demand of your currency in the international market. जो international transaction हो रहा है ये उसके लिए, जो पैसे convert हो रहे हैं, the way the currency exchange हो रहा है, this is for that. But this does not represent the purchasing power of $1. So whatever you are getting there in $1. Will you get the same stuff here in 70 rupees? No. Because there we come up with this concept of purchasing power parity. What we do, just to understand, let us make a list of, let's say, 10 goods. We had a purchasing basket, we have a consumer's basket, uske andar we have 10-20 goods. We compared the price of those 10-20 goods in India. What is 20 rupees? Let's say, talk about 1 liter of milk, 12 eggs, a packet of bread, and let's say a cup of coffee or tea. These are very fundamental things. These are very basic to someone. Bread. So we will compare. Okay, how much is the price? This much of rupees. Then what we will do? We will purchase the same thing there. We will purchase the same goods, same basket of goods there. And then we will make a comparison. And roughly based on that, now based on purchasing power parity, roughly I am saying 1 USD is hardly 11 rupees, 11 to 15 rupees. So, purchasing power, yes. That's why when we say per capita income, I'm coming up with the figures now. Now when we talk about per capita income of India, so we have, I told you, we have two. Nominal means in general, but when we compare with PPP. So let's say in 2020, 2021, 2022, this is nominal per capita income, and this is at per capita income at PPP. So in 2020 it was, and this is in USD, it was 1965 American dollars. But when you go it on a PPP level, because purchasing power ज़्यादा हो गई ना अभी रुपए की, exchange rate of rupee is 70, but PPP is lesser, means rupee is more powerful. Rupee will become more powerful when it will be equivalent in power with dollar when 1 rupee equal to $1. Means higher is the value, weaker is your currency. Higher is the value of dollar, more rupees, जितना ज़्यादा रुपया देना पड़ेगा, your money is that weak. But when we compare it on purchasing power parity, it comes down, and based on that in 2020 it was 6465. See the difference per capita income. Purchasing power parity पे हमारी इतनी है. ये real depiction है. ये तो this nominal value is basically based on the exchange rate और वो fluctuate कर रहा है. Fine. In 2021 it increased to 2191 and it was 7333. ये सब values जो है ये American dollars में in US dollars. 2022 expected 2358. And this on PPP, per capita income at PPP level or PPP comparison, it is 7943 expected to be. Any doubt till this point? पूछो. Clear? Absorb करने में time लग रहा है. Any doubt? Shiva, Akash, Shwetanshu, Ali, Kabir, Sagar, any doubt? Again, there is a problem with this. The problem with this is, this means that every individual is earning this much. मतलब मुझे अगर कोई $8,000 दे, this per month, this per capita income per month, international comparison के लिए, then means everyone 130 करोड़ लोग per month ये कमा. Is it possible? Means the richest top and bottom, they are earning same. इसका मतलब ये है, but that's not true. It can give you the status of the whole country. Obviously, India's situation is not that good because we are way below world average is like around 18,000. World average is around $18,000 on PPP. Take the countries which are on higher side because जिनकी population कम है, especially when you talk about Scandinavian nations, you talk about Western European countries, the issue with them is they are developed and their population is less. So, their national income is on a higher side and their population is less. So what will happen? Numerator is more, denominator is less. So उनकी per capita income $1 lakh के आसपास चली जाती है. Again, not a true picture because this is what we are getting out of this is it just shows that how much access to goods and services, how ease of access to goods and services we have. It is not saying that, okay, can you please explain once again the difference between nominal and PPP? Okay. PPP means purchasing power parity. Now, if I go for if I ask you what is the price of iPhone? अभी लेटेस्ट वाला क्या 13-14 कौन सा आ गया है? सर अभी इंडिया में लॉन्च होगा and it will be somewhere around 1,20,000 roughly. But the same means if and in dollars how much it become? In dollars. So if you divide 120 by 70, 1,20,000 by 70, it will be roughly around 100 is 70 and $1,000 will be 1,70,000 is, okay, it is $1,100. In USD it is $1,100, it's around 80,000 rupees, okay. So $1,100 India में है, लेकिन अगर when you will see the price of that thing in America, it will be like $700 or $800. Okay. In India it is, yes, that is what I am saying. So how this differentiation, so that, you know, who is having more purchasing power as per them? Indians are, मतलब वो, we are considered as a poor nation, and the prices, so if you go and purchase same goods, the same thing in US, $1,100 it will be, so this, if you will go for comparison, it will be like 80,000 rupees. But if you will compare the same thing, then you will go, you will take $1,100 there, you will say how much you have to spend, what would be the value, 77, even if you take 70, so it's somewhere around 77,000 rupees. But can you get the same thing in 77,000 rupees here? No, you are getting the same stuff in 1,20,000 rupees. They're just differentiating the purchasing power. Or if I take it the other way, for example, Ali, you wanted to shift to, let's say, New York, and whenever you will make a comparison, you will compare the cost of living. So what we compare, whenever someone want to shift outside, first thing first they do is, okay, वहाँ का cost of living कितना है, and then you calculate, अच्छा इतना, and they say, okay, but that thing is that comparison. So what comparison is done? The same basket of goods is purchased. Let's say the prices of same basket of goods is in India. The price of same basket of goods is in whatever city you are comparing, and then there is a comparison. Then you will come up कि ठीक है वो 70, 80, 90 रुपए डॉलर से फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. It's about the purchasing power of the currency, or rather how much, or this per capita income basically shows that how much access of goods and services we can have in the same value of currency or same amount of money. What money is doing? What is the function of money? Exchange. पैसा क्या करता है? It's a medium of exchange. Yes, it's a medium of exchange. It's money is something which the main purpose of money is to satisfy human wants. अब आप उसे through medium of exchange कह लो, through transaction कह लो, through investment कह लो, whatever you want to do. But fundamental thing what money is doing, money is satisfying human wants. Now whether you need food, चाहे वो डॉलर्स में हो, चाहे वो यूरोज में हो, चाहे वो रुपए में हो, what you need is food, and then you will compare. अच्छा, so to bring at parity, to bring them at equal level, same things. Like for example, there is a very interesting thing which is known as Big Mac Index. It's a thing. This is a thing, Big Mac Index. What is this Big Mac Index? Because McDonald's is present all over the world, and burger is something which is a common food for people from West. So what there is this London-based firm वो Big Mac Index देती है. वो क्या करते हैं? They compare the price of the Big Mac burger, or what we call as Maharaja burger in India. I don't know what exact term for that. In all the major cities of the world, because that is having a standardized cost. So they compare कि London में कितना है, Berlin में कितना है, New York में कितना है, Delhi में कितना है, Mumbai में कितना है, and then they compare, and then they say कि purchasing power parity or a Big Mac Index. So based on that they consider it as a standard thing, and then किसी एक city का standard मानते हैं, and then उससे compare करते हैं. So same thing, same milk or let's say this one Big Mac burger or anything which is common for all, we compare them instead of comparing gold or petrol or currency. Compare these things because this is what people are concerned with. It refers to food. It refers to food. It's not about a burger. It refers to food. The three terms. Need, want and demand. What is the difference? Because you said, when I said economics, you said demand and supply. What is the difference between need, want and demand?
Need, necessity.
Okay.
And want is just we want, we are not needed of that. We want,
Like for
we are
comfort.
not, it's not essential.
Okay, it's not essential. चलो मान लिए बात. And demand. Yes. Type it in the chat section, please. Need, want and demand. बड़े मिले जुले से लग रहा है. This is where your understanding comes in. This is what you have to groom yourself when you're talking of aspirant में ये फर्क है. You are need yes, basic things to live. In the absence of this, yes, not we will die exactly, but yeah, basic minimum things which are for human survival. Good. And when you in UPSC, this is the difference with other examination. You are not someone who is looking at things. You are someone who is observing things. Looking at things is different and observing things is different. Like I am observing Daksab is saying, I was studying science for 5 years and now I am in humanities, and I know you will not feel good for a few days. It's okay. It's okay. You have, since your class 11th, you have just one approach and it is science. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of cell. That's it. उसमें कुछ समझने का है ही नहीं सर. Or eddy current losses are reduced by coating the transformer, that core of the transformer. Physics में पढ़ा था.
Lamination.
Lamination, yes. This is what? Fact. See, but you know one thing, those who have done science, they feel it's a bit difficult for first few days. First few days, it may last for a month because I am taking about all subjects as a whole. But the people who are from science, they perform better because of the rational approach that is inherent. अब तुमने तो पढ़ लिया soil और rock के difference को, वो है, उसको कोई नहीं बदल सकता. But here comes, सर ये क्या पढ़ा रहे हो? Need, want और demand एक हम तो अब तक interchange करते हुए आ रहे थे. हाँ. Yes. Want are the things that we desire, very good. Need are the basic amenities for living life with dignity. Okay. Yes, one thing is clear. Need is referring to जो भी जिंदगी रोटी कपड़ा और मकान. Simple. Need is रोटी कपड़ा मकान. Basic minimum thing. Dignity तो बहुत बात की चीज है यार. Dignity comes later. Dignity comes very later. Want the desires. Yes, Kabir.
Yeah, so can I explain it in the help of example, sir?
हाँ, please.
So like want is like, so I want to buy an iPhone. Like it is my desire to buy the thing, but I am not actually demanding. That is my purchasing power is not up to that mark that I will go and buy that product. But in demand, sir, actually I am willing to buy that product also, and I have money power also. So I am actually demanding it in the market. So it's called as demand, sir.
Sir, you have an economics background, if I am not wrong.
Yes, sir.
Great. मेरे पास परचेजिंग पावर तो है, ठीक है, योर डेफिनेशन इज करेक्ट. अब मजा आएगा. योर डेफिनेशन इज करेक्ट कि सर आई वांट टू बाय एन आईफोन. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई वांट टू बाय अ कार. आई वांट टू बाय सो नीड, ठीक है, बेसिक. आई वांट टू बाय अ कार, बट विच कार? डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट? परचेजिंग पावर.
Yeah, purchasing power.
Purchasing power. My purchasing power is to buy a car which costs 5 lakh rupees. ठीक है. and there are 10 cars in that 5 lakh segment. Now which car I'll choose depends not just on demand, but my, yes, it depends on my, yes, it depends, this please, it depends on my willingness and ability to pay. I have purchasing power. Purchasing power is my ability to pay. I can pay 5 lakh rupees, but I am not willing to pay. ये भी तो हो सकता है ना. This can be one situation. I am having 5 lakh rupees to purchase a car. Definitely means I am having that purchasing power. I am having that ability to pay, but I don't want to pay. Then can that be called as demand? So demand comes with, demand is something when you go out and you are having ability to pay is purchasing power. Sometimes opposite happens. I want to pay, but I don't have the ability to pay. I want a car, sir, which car? Sir, BMW, Audi. I'll say, yes, if I get a chance, I'll pay for it, but I don't have ability as of now. Possible? So these two conditions need, this is what demand is. वो जो demand supply, the whole economics is all about, this is what demand is. I want something, and to get something, that good or service, there should be two conditions which should be satisfied simultaneously. That is, ability and willingness to pay. तभी वो तभी तो आपके पास वो चीज आएगी. Either of them is absent, that will be a desire, unfulfilled desire. So the income status shows, or this per capita income shows, is, or what does it show? It shows how much access we have to the goods and services. How much you can purchase, how much access you have. And as per standardization or as per standard definitions, a lower per capita income means that our standard of living is low. Simple. Lower per capita income means standard of living is low. Now, simple. Now again coming back to this part, वापस आते हैं. I told you, कहाँ गया हो? This one. Yes. This figure is basically an average. When we are talking about per capita income, that means that it is an average. Average, but that is not a real picture. Means Mr. Mukesh Ambani is also earning this much, and I am also earning this much. Is that true? But what he earns in a second, I think I earn in a year maybe. I don't know. But this is not a real picture. Because, and why? So this has to be coupled with another thing, and that is what he called as income inequalities. Income inequality. Okay. Or India and Indian economy is characterized by wide income inequality. When we are saying income inequality means, इसको ऐसे समझ सकते हैं आप, that let's say we have three categories, we can categorize population into three. We have the lower class, we have the middle class, and we have the rich class. You can go for further classification if you want. You will call the people who are living below poverty line, you will say the lower middle class, then you will say upper middle class, then you will say the rich class, and then you will say the super rich class, and then you will say the capitalists. Classification can be done. But हम एक simple classification करते हैं. We are saying that there is a lower class or the poor class. We have a middle class and we have a rich class. And when we talk about it, let's say, And if you try to draw a graph for this, or before that. So when we are saying, I'll draw the graph later. When we are saying that India is characterized by wide income inequalities, what does this mean?
Distribution of income is not
Distribution of income is not
equal.
equal, very good. Or sources of income as in?
Sources of income are not same.
Possible. 1% population has 42% wealth in India. Yes, sir. This is income inequality. And this I can explain. This is explained by a concept which is known as Lorentz curve. अब ये कैसे पता चलेगा सर, ये क्या कहानी है? Let's say this is a simple 45-degree line. Science वालों को मजा आएगा सर को. This is a simple 45-degree line. On one side, like you can have, let's say, income. On other side, we have population, and we say, ठीक है, 1% population having access to 1% of the income or wealth. Okay, 2%, 10% with the same, and 4% with the same, and so on. What we call this line as, this is, okay, this is, okay. Okay, this is line of absolute equality. This line, the simple 45-degree line, is the line of absolute equality. Now on what is we can say that on y-axis, what we are having, the cumulative percentage of income. So let's say here we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, this is one. On x-axis, what we are having cumulative percent of population. Again same thing, 10, 20, 30, 40. And then we can say this is the line of absolute equality, means 10% of population having access to 10% of wealth or having 10% of income, 20% having 20% of wealth, 30% having 30% of wealth, and then we'll get a straight line. It is saying that, okay, this is a part of absolute equality, but this is not the case. And when we point out this Lorentz curve, it says like this, let's say. Okay, let's take here. Possible? अब इसका क्या मतलब हुआ बताओ? Can take one example here, let's say. And one more thing I forgot. So we can say then when you are saying population, so this is the poor side and this is the rich side. Okay, you go like this. This is the poor side. So the poor 10% is having access to less than 10% of them. And this is how this will go on like this. And again. Like this. I'm sorry, somewhere here. This means that top, and this is in quartile. I'll come to this later. So by this we calculate what? We calculate Gini coefficient. So there's a this is the shaded area, and the value through which we understand this is the Gini coefficient. It is used. It is described under now there to describe the inequalities. What this a graph को भी बाद में बनाना. I'll tell you this concept in board. You will just first understand bit more, or फिर ये और easily you can understand. Okay. So another characteristics. Unemployment and poverty are also characteristic of Indian economy or an underdeveloped economy that we will discuss separately, because poverty and unemployment itself is a separate chapter. Okay. Wow. And why there is the question is, we'll come back to this later. I know थोड़ा big concept आगे नहीं गए. The question now is, sir, you are saying that there is inequality accepted. The question is why? Why there are income inequalities in India? Why there are income inequalities in India? Why there are income inequalities anywhere? ठीक है, ठीक है. और
Sir, there is no basic structure of basic standard salary payment to the over the years. In any sector, there is no any standard structure to the payment box.
okay. Income is Shiva. Income does not only mean salary. It includes, there are 4 factor incomes. You can talk about that, and it is known as WIPR. That is wages, income, interest, profit, and rent. So what are in economics? We have 4 factors of production. We have land, we have labor, we have capital, and we have entrepreneurship. Combined, whenever you have to go for the process of production, you have to combine these 4 factors, and then you can start the production. And everyone is earning something. They are getting something out of it. What they are getting? They are getting their income out of it, and it is known as factor income. From land, what we are getting? Rent. लेबर को क्या मिल रहा है? वेज. कैपिटलिस्ट को क्या मिल रहा है? इंटरेस्ट. एंटरप्रेन्योर को क्या मिल रहा है? Profit. So when we are saying income here, when we are talking about income inequalities, we are talking about not just salary, Shiva. We are talking about all these things. अब बताओ.
Sir, considering these, sir, the inequalities are basically because the lack of opportunities that people have in the country. Like for example, in case of land, labor, capital, in current scenario in globalization, there is a use of technologies. Therefore, the lack of jobs and the lack of incomes, like factor income.
ठीक है. Okay. Good. थोड़ा टेक्निकल बोल दिया तुमने. Good. See, there are n number of reasons, and the most important reason is not having access to land. You will see land reforms, wealth कहाँ से generate हो रही है? And if you see the ancient world or the medieval world, you will find that yes, the whole fight, all the battles, all the wars that we'll study later on in history, they all belong to what? And they were fighting, what they were fighting for? They were fighting for access to resources. Land was the major resource. Today, when we, पहले क्या होता था कि जिसकी जितनी बड़ी सेना, he is that powerful? Simple. Now today, and slowly when the era of Renaissance happened, when the rationalization started in the world, then this shifted from military strength to economic strength. And there we see the era of land conquest होने लगा. Because economy became the strength, hence at that time the economic strength was access to land. Now there is we can say compartmentalization of the world. Now we have modern day democracies, now we have countries with a well defined border, so acquisition and conquest is something which is out of question now. So now what is the scale of, or what is the standard to judge any country? What is the standard to judge any country? That is economy. भाई क्या कह रहे हैं? प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने क्या कहा? We want to make India a $5 trillion economy by 2025. Economic strength. India is having more land than Japan. Way more land than Japan. Am I right? But who is a larger economy? Who is a big power? Japan. Now that has changed. Now everything revolves around economy. And that is why at every stage the government, this whole story, like Sagar is saying that sir, capitalism is making rich. Yes, it is. It is how income, and you know, I'll give you one example. Let's say Jio Telecom Infocom Limited, it's a mobile company, and it is having roughly 30 crore users throughout the country. Now tell me one thing, if Jio increases its monthly tariff by 10 rupees only, will there be a major effect on your pocket? 10 rupees per month. You know, sir, no, इतना तो हम चिप्स के पैकेट खा के फेंक देते हैं. What it is costing you? 120 rupees a year? You will say nothing has happened. Obviously, majority of our population is not rich. We are the middle class and the lower middle class and the upper middle class people. What has happened? That all of a sudden, so just take example of 1 month. So 30 crore into 10?
Yes.
300 crore rupees. So just by increasing 10 rupees, what happened? That 300 crore rupees came from the poorer section or the not rich section of the society. वो जो graph देखा था in income equality का, what happened? It came from here and it get concentrated into one place. What would be its scale in a year? डॉक्टर साहब टेंशन में आ गए कि सर ये क्या हुआ? हाँ, this is what capitalism is. In a year, how much? 300 into 12, 3,600 crore rupees. Now, a company which is an individual, this is what the legal definition, I think someone said, Mohit said that he is doing law and he can tell the company is an individual in law. So what happened? In a year, there's a complete shift of wealth from one section of the population, from 30 crore people, wealth got accumulated and it concentrated at one, you know, it got accumulated and concentrated at one place. Accumulation of wealth. So by increasing 10 rupees, they are gaining 3,600 crore, not 3,600, 3,600 crore rupees. 3,600 के बाद 7 जीरो हैं और 36 के बाद 9 जीरो हैं. आपकी जेब से जब 10 रुपए एक महीने में निकलते हैं. This is what income inequality is. and which is a prime character of Indian economy. क्या हो गया, तुम टेंशन में क्यों आ गए? Yeah, speak up. इनकम इनइक्वालिटी क्लियर, डोंट फॉल टू लॉरेंस कर्व. अभी तुम लोगों को मैं लॉरेंस कर्व 1-2 दिन में पढ़ाऊंगा, आज पढ़ा दूंगा तो टेंशन में आ जाओगे. यस now you are scaling it, now you are understanding it. That's why in the beginning I told you, welcome to the jungle. तो क्या था ना मूवी में, वेलकम टू द जंगल. दिमाग खुलेगा, इट विल एक्सप्लोड आउट. 10 दिन क्लास कर लो इकोनॉमिक. बट बिफोर दैट, statutory warning to all. I'm not here to make you an economist. Don't feel that now after studying economics for 30-40 odd days we will be able to get a Nobel Prize in economics. No, your job is not to do that. Your job is just to clear the exam. Don't ever deviate from this path. लगता है when you find something interesting. I found people saying, sir, history is very interesting. हाँ, I know. It's like I'm married to economics but I'm in love with history. My case is this. When sir told कि वो he takes he has better grasp of economics than history, and how I take history you can ask other people. होता है, interest की बात है. But so because it's not about your command over subject, it's about your understanding of the subject. Next characteristic, next major feature of, so this disparity in the distribution of income. What we have talked about is disparity or inequality in distribution of income. This is not just with the population. Indian economy is characterized by regional disparities also. For example, अभी कोई कह रहा था Bihar is among the, I think Sagar you were saying that Bihar has the worst in case of development. Punjab is okay, Gujarat is good, Rajasthan is good, Maharashtra is doing well. Why this regional? Because Indian economy is characterized by this. Maharashtra is a great state. Jai Maharashtra. But sir, दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा slum भी आप ही के हैं. Maharashtra is a great state, but at the same time, the largest slum is also in the same state. ये है disparity. This is disparity. You talk about Delhi, you feel good. Delhi आके अच्छा लगा. Bombay जितना तेज नहीं है. उस पर you're from Mumbai. Bombay जैसा नहीं, थोड़ा सा एक pause है. So okay, in Mumbai there is one place where there is a slum. ठीक. In Delhi, every 3 kilometers you will find one slum. You are in the capital of this country, और हर 3 किलोमीटर पे एक स्लम कहीं ना कहीं दिख जाएगा in a radius. ये आज चाय पिलाना भूल गए मुझे. Today when I take online class I used to get 1 tea every 1 hour. Today they have forgotten. Maybe some busy. So we have and yes, World Bank की report कहती है that the maximum number of poor people as an absolute number we are having. The richest people of Asia we are having. This is disparity. This is disparity. This is where you have to work. This is where bureaucracy comes in. This is where administration comes in. Ground level problem की सब बात कर रहे थे. This is ground level problem, sir. This is how you have, all the things will come down to this. And that is, and why the problem, like अभी हम आगे चल के we will talk about this thing. We'll talk about the types, the classification of economy. We'll talk about mixed economy or welfare. India is characterized constitutionally, or ideally India is a welfare economy. Government is not here to earn profit. Government is here to do for the welfare of the people. होना भी यही चाहिए. This was a very sarcastic smile, yaar. Don't do this. Like, the way, Sagar, I'm sorry to interrupt and I'm bringing this in, but from your, expressions, I feel that you are very much unhappy with this India turning into, yes, Indian economy is characterized turning towards a capitalist economy. We are in transition of that phase from a mixed economy, we are transitioning ourselves into a capitalist economy. अभी आगे चल के समझ में आएगा कैसे, वो we'll see. And this is reflected, this income inequality, this regional inequality, this disparities in development, like if you see, like you come from Bastar. You know, the region where she is coming from, one of the most Naxalite affected regions in this country. आज भी वहाँ majority of the tribals who are living there, आज भी एक पैकेट नमक के लिए 2 बोरी धान दे देते हैं. Yes, because that if you go beyond, in the Abujamar region of Bastar, it is still it's like it is still habited by the Aboriginals. They follow barter system. Severe exploitation. So there is one region like this, and there is one region like this. Here, बाहर निकलो कौन सी चीज़ अवेलेबल नहीं है. You just cross the road and you have everything, from a metro to a public transport to DTC buses. You are having good network at every metro station. You are talking about Wi-Fi. Great, but there should be proper trickle down, what we call as the trickle down theory. What we call this as trickle down theory. Now this is bound to happen. Just a moment, I'm coming. Now, trickle down theory, it says that the benefits of economic development, it trickle down, drip, it percolates down to the bottommost strata of the society. But the question is, in what time? It is there. See, it's a simple one-line statement. Development hoga, to the benefit of that will reach everyone. Now the question is when and how spread it would be. For example, let's say before that, growth and development. What is the difference?
For growth, you give the definition to they will take the facilities from the resources, but they will not be the sufficient fund to the development of that society. For example, industry, they will get income more and more, they will grow themselves, but they will not provide the facilities to the surrounding resource places as well as the employees. That will come to the undevelopment.
ठीक है, बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आया मेरे.
The growth can be stated with quantitative change in individual, whereas development is can be said in a macro prospect that is increasing per capita income or industry sector.
पहला पार्ट सही है. Yes.
Like growth. Sir, like growth can be like as you said, quality the amount of size, but development is like every individual should be developed in that point of view.
हाँ, obviously that is ideally should happen. Yes.
Development can be said as changing savings income or anything like that.
Change in
Savings, income, investment.
नहीं. हाँ मतलब ठीक है. Okay.
ग्रोथ जीडीपी वाइज मेजर करी जाती है कि जीडीपी कितना ग्रोथ हो रहा है या फिर पर कैपिटा इनकम में कितना इंक्रीज है, बट डेवलपमेंट जो होता है वो सोशल इंडिकेटर्स में क्या फर्क आ रहा है.
Very good.
वो indicate.
Great. Sagar has said something. Just a moment. Growth means increase in national output and income, but development is improvement in the quality of the individuals, quality of life of the individuals. Okay. Yes. Anyone?
In development, even environment,
In development?
like in development, we will also consider environmental things. Like
ठीक है.
how we are using those resources and all that.
हाँ.
Sustainable use.
सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ. ओके. हाँ, तुम लोग ने जीडीपी भी ला दी, सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ भी ला दिया. यस. ग्रोथ इज समथिंग विच इज क्वांटिटेटिव and development is something which is qualitative. Now you understand this by one thing. Let's say that from government data we came to know that from the year 2015 to 2020, in a span of last 5 years, there were 10,000 more schools that were opened up. There are 10,000 more schools that were opened up in the country. Good, thank you. 10,000 schools, this is growth. But unless and until that new opening up of new schools is not reflected in the literacy ratio, it is not reflected in the gross enrollment ratio, it is not reflected in, let's say, gender, like women education, the rate of women education, we can't call it development. Growth, quantity, number of schools increased. But in 5 years, or let's say, if we say, for example, we were supposed to have a census in 2021, but because of COVID and other things, it has been slow now. Let's say from if the data comes that whatever is the change in literacy level from 2011 to 2021, let's say in 10 years, okay, there must be some increase in the literacy ratio of a country, possible. But at the same time, you will say, sir, it is not reflected, and you're saying that at the same time the per capita income is going down, or at the same time the employment ratio is, literacy is increasing, gross enrollment ratio is increasing, dropout rate is decreasing. These are all parameters to understand the level of education, no? Learning outcomes we are talking about. And at that point, you are saying that the rate of unemployment is increasing, means what? The quality of life is different. So the social indicators, someone said, I think Akash, you said about social indicators, yes. Hospitals बढ़ गए और लोग मर गए, then what is the sense of opening hospitals? I will say, sir, doctors will say, sir, we can't save everyone. I know you can't save everyone. But I can say that when government says no one died because of oxygen, मैं नहीं कह रहा, सरकार ने कहा है. In parliament they have said that no one died because of lack of oxygen, because they could not reach hospital and could be registered as a patient who had a positive RT-PCR report. There are a number of things. Even I am someone who is very much critical of, because fundamentally, like one example, government is saying that we are going to have a $5 trillion economy in 2024-25, possible. So if you keep on growing at nominal growth rate of 12%, nominal, not real, your economy will become $10 trillion somewhere in 2029, 2030. Compounding क्या हो रहा है? यही तो होता है, कुछ नया नहीं हो रहा है. Nothing new is happening. It is the economy will become $20 trillion somewhere in, and it grows at a 12% rate, nominal rate of 12%. In 6 or 7 years, it will double itself. So India will become a $20 trillion. This is nothing to flaunt of. Khair, coming back. So yes, growth, it is a quantitative phenomena. On the other hand, development is a qualitative phenomena. Growth could be negative, like GDP showed a negative growth. Was that a headline? Was the headline?
Yes.
Am I right? So this is, growth can be, because it is a quantity can be increased, and when you are talking about quality, we'll say development is, it's a qualitative phenomena. It is not reflected by something which can be quantified easily. So I was talking about that Indian now the real problem comes in, now the ground level problem comes in, that Indian economy is characterized by low level of well-being. Indian economy is characterized by low level of well-being. For example, Human Development Index. Human Development Index, I'll tell you later on. There is the introductory class. There it is. There are three. What are the parameters? Kabir. What are the parameters for Human Development Index? Now why I'm asking him? He has studied economics.
So it's life expectancy.
Okay.
So it is education.
Okay.
And living of standards.
Yes. Life expectancy at birth, cross enrollment ratio, and your what was the third one?
So living of standards.
Yes, standard of living. Standard of living. Okay. Where we are? We are like, we are in top. We are beyond 100. I think it's in out of 180, 190 countries, हम इधर ही होते हैं. Global Hunger Index. I can give you the data for 2020 Global Hunger Index. प्रॉब्लम यहाँ है, प्रॉब्लम और कहीं नहीं है. Sorry. So this Global Hunger Index report comes in October every year, and it is coming since 2004 if I'm not wrong. अभी जैसे September next, अभी 2021 का अभी इसलिए we are referring to the data of 2020 because it is scheduled to come in 2021. So out of 107 countries, we ranked 94. यहाँ है problem. Out of 100, what was India's ranking in 2020? Out of 107 countries, we were ranking 94. This is the problem, sir. And yes, and they have characterized, you can note down this, I'm telling you a very important part. For mains and prelims both. And in the 2020 report, they have said that the main problem, or there are four basic problems that is because of which we are saying that India is ranked. Number one, undernourishment. Global problem. Why India is ranking at this? Number one, undernourishment. खाना मिल्क undernourishment means undernourishment. But talk medically.
Not having 2 meals of a day.
That you are talking about, I think BMI. So undernourishment, I'm talking about not underdevelopment, undernourishment means, yes, Shwetanshu, you are saying something?
Not having 2 meals of a day or a benchmark set calories.
Yes, even if you are having food and you are not having a balanced diet, you are not having the set requirement of calories, undernourishment. So भूख का मतलब सिर्फ ये नहीं होता है कि you are not getting food. भूख का मतलब ये भी होता है, हंगर इंक्लूड्स दिस ऑल्सो, यू आर नॉट गेटिंग एम्पल, यू नो, यू आर नॉट गेटिंग दैट बैलेंस डाइट. सेकेंड इन दिस, यही आएगा एग्जाम में, बोलना मत सर ने पढ़ाया नहीं. या अंडर नरिशमेंट एंड माल न्यूट्रिशन.
हंगर की वजह से माल न्यूट्रिशन, अगर हंगर होने के बाद प्रॉपर न्यूट्रिशियस डाइट नहीं मिला तो हम माल अंडर न्यूट्रिशन हो जाते हैं. और इसी कंसेप्ट को BMI कहते हैं, बॉडी मास इंडेक्स. इसी की वजह से मसल का वेस्टेज होता है, बोन की डेंसिटी कम हो जाती है.
The second problem, I'm just coming. Okay.
जो कि हर किसी के लिए पॉसिबल नहीं है. डेली जो मसल की रिक्वायरमेंट है, जितना आपका वेट है उतने ग्राम प्रोटीन आपको डेली चाहिए, लेकिन ये हर किसी के लिए पॉसिबल नहीं है.
Yes. Malnutrition is a phenomena. Malnutrition is the worst. Like nutrition is the balanced thing, undernutrition, and then comes malnutrition. Undernutrition means you are getting nutrition, but you are not getting it in proper the quantity. Like he said, जितने kg के आप हैं उतना ग्राम you need protein. So like if someone is like 80 kgs, 70 kgs, they need 70 grams of protein, and what they are getting is 20 grams of protein or 30 grams of protein. That is undernourishment. Malnutrition कुछ मिल ही नहीं रहा है. I think मतलब बच्चों का बहुत खतरनाक प्रॉब्लम है. So that is what the second problem why we are counting at this stage. Actually, the global hunger index says that the situation of India is they have categorized India in a severe hunger situation. We are categorized as severe. ये जो situation है ना, because if I am not wrong, yes, in that index we are not concerned how that is calculated. So obviously 0 and 200 में हम 27 means we are in like जितना ज़्यादा होगा, like China is having good situation, so there this index value is less than 5. So 0 is good, 100 is bad. We are at 27. आप लोग ऐसा 27 ही तो है. You know, well, there's one more figure. 45% of the children under the age, roughly 45% of the children under the age of 6 years are malnourished. I think child nutrition is a very big challenge for the medical field here. हम क्यों एकदम से वेव आती है, हम सब एक साथ बीमार पड़ गए. न्यूट्रिशन नहीं, आप इम्यूनिटी की बात कर रहे हो. Reality is this: we are not getting proper nutrition, and what is needed to fight? Nutrition नहीं तो immunity कहाँ से build up हो जाएगी? Okay. Then child stunning. What is child wasting? Wasting means वो not well developed muscles, not well developed. Yes. Yeah, it's basically you can refer this to as low BMI. Am I right? Next problem is child stunning. Stunning means stunted growth. The appearance or the body has not grown as per along with the age. What? Because I can tell this because whenever I take my son for vaccination, so there is a chart for this, and doctor says ki theek hai, if your child is above his body height, weight, and everything comes above that standardized, like we have na standardized equality line. If it comes above that, that's okay. But he said majority time it comes below that, especially in the lower income group. This is the problem. Global hunger index कह रहा है आपके यहाँ, और जब ये भी क्रॉस हो गया, the fourth problem, child mortality. This is the problem. Nepal ranked 73. in this where we rank 94. मतलब here 1 is good. जितना आपका rank आ गया, it is bad. Nepal ranked 73. Bangladesh ranked at 80. Pakistan 83. Sorry, Bangladesh 75. Indonesia 70. And now UPSC will ask the question in economics. Means day 1. Now what they will ask. List out the major problem. Obviously, global hunger index will come again in October, and this is where market. You have now. You will cover it. Your this part, current affair part. My job is over for this thing. October. So what will happen when you will give prelims next year, 2022? You will be referring to global hunger index of 2021. But when you will giving mains, October में फिर आ जाएगा 2022 में. You will be referring to that. So in economy, every time whatever data I am giving you, whatever indices I am discussing it for this year. But when you will give exam, definitely things will change. When you will give mains, things will change. When you will give interview, हो सकता है कुछ चीजें और बदल जाएं. You have to update yourself. This is why economics is difficult, because it is the only subject which is not static. Geography में जहाँ हिमालय था, हिमालय तो वहीं है ना, वो तो नहीं हिला. और हिस्ट्री में अकबर पैदा होके मर गए तो पैदा होके मर गए, अब तो वो कांस्टेंट हो गया. दिस इज द ओनली सब्जेक्ट विच इज, एंड आफ्टर इट इसके बाद अगर कोई सब्जेक्ट है जो कि डायनामिक नेचर का है, इट इज पॉलिटी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. एंड इफ यू हैव कमांड ओवर दीज टू सब्जेक्ट्स, गुड कमांड. प्रीलिम्स क्रॉस्ड. हाउ कैन यू सी दैट? हाँ, कुछ नहीं समझ में, आप 5 सब्जेक्ट पढ़ लो prelims, because no one is asking how much you will get in prelims. The only question is you have to just cross that line. मार्क्स जिसके जुड़ ही नहीं रहे तो उसके मार्क्स के पीछे भागना क्यों? But my approach is this: you may have, like sir said na in the beginning, you may have a plan of yours. You may have a plan of yours. My strategy is very simple. जिसके मार्क्स नहीं जुड़ रहे उसके मार्क्स के बारे में सोचो ही मत. इसको 120, इसको 200, both are same. Now the question like this will come, something related to global hunger index. India ranked lower as compared to its neighbors like Pakistan, Nepal and Bangladesh in the global hunger index. Discuss the main problem of hunger, main causes of hunger in India. This is the question, this is the nature of question that will come in mains. And that you have to do in 150 words. How you will do it? Okay, 1 line about, 3 lines about global hunger. 150 words, 15 lines, simple. Global hunger index, this, India ranked this much, these are the problems. And then you will list out these 4 problems. What they have. हो सकता है अगले साल के, अब जो अक्टूबर में रिपोर्ट आएगी, they may come up with some more factors or some lesser factors or whatever is the ranking they will do. Situation will change. Okay, so basically, जहाँ हम थे, so you got this concept of 2 things I have told you right now. Growth and development, you got the difference between growth and development. You got to understand what is global hunger index, what are the parameters, how they have calculated child mortality, child stunning, child wasting and undernourishment. So this is like every time a stage is up, undernourishment leading to child wasting leading to stunning, and ultimately even if the nutrition is not provided at any of these stage, any of the above 3 stages, it will lead to child mortality. Clear? Then the major characteristic of Indian economy, predominance of agriculture. But the share of agriculture in GDP has declined. Now, this is a good sign or a bad sign. The share of agriculture is declining, especially in the post-reform. When we are saying post-reform period, we are referring to the economic reforms of 1991. Okay, 1990s, early 90s. So in the economic reforms, we say that 1991 to 55, yes, 1991, when Dr. Manmohan Singh became the finance minister and all those liberalization, privatization, globalization stuff came in. So especially in the past 20 years, 1991 to 2021, the share of agriculture, though India is a predominantly agrarian economy, the share of agriculture is declining in the GDP, in the gross domestic product. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing, sir.
Why?
Shifting to study sectors and other sources of income.
We are shifting to other sectors and other sources of income. Okay.
That's because land is also limited. Shifting can be set in a good prospect.
But don't you think that that will create a question on food security, as if more and more people will shift towards non-agriculture sector, that will raise a question on the food availability? You are saying land is limited, more and more industry, because if more people are shifting towards that, हाँ दे दीजिए, ये वाली ले जाइए, ये आ गई थी बीच में, वो वाली दे दीजिए, अच्छी नहीं, ये वाली। Very much concern about tea. Everyone, yes. So don't you think that that will raise a question on the food security? Because the biggest responsibility, just a moment, Shatanshu. Because the biggest responsibility on agriculture sector is not just only to produce food for themselves, but also to produce food for those who are not in agriculture. The biggest responsibility on them is that they have to produce food for themselves. भाई किसान होगा पहले तो, if you will go to the conventional or the traditional way of agriculture, everyone was producing from themselves. There was a very little surplus, and then we went for the commercialization of agriculture, where we are not only producing, the farmers are not only producing for themselves, but they are also producing for the non-agrarian sector. But what you are saying is, ज़्यादा लोग, if more people will move towards industrialization or non-agriculture activities, means more units will be opened up, more acquisition of land, more airports, everything. Okay, sign of development, but at what cost?
Development should be in that prospect where agriculture sector should be developed according to the industrial sector and other sectors also.
But if more and more people will keep on moving towards non-agrarian sector, that will raise a question of food security.
So, in Indian case, in Indian agriculture, the issue is of disguised unemployment, sir.
That is okay. We want unemployment ki baat mat karo. I am talking about sector as a whole.
Yes, sir, but the people are moving, the share of GDP is reducing. It means that the share of manufacturing or services is increasing, which indicates the shift of people from one sector to another, which ultimately leads to the growth and development.
But sir, that is what I am asking. Don't you think that will raise a serious question over food security?
The manufacturing sector is also simultaneously developing, sir.
Okay. Yes, Akash, you were saying something.
सर फूड सिक्योरिटी का क्वेश्चन तब नहीं आएगा अगर हम लोग प्रोडक्टिविटी इंक्रीज करने पे ध्यान देंगे, तो फिर फूड सिक्योरिटी का क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि जो लैंड भी एक क्या बोलते हैं उसको, लैंड का जो सेग्रीगेशन होता जा रहा है ना ज्यादा लोगों की,
फ्रैगमेंटेशन ऑफ लैंड,
फ्रैगमेंटेशन, हाँ, लैंड फ्रैगमेंटेशन नहीं होगा तो उससे प्रोडक्टिविटी भी इंक्रीज होगी, मैकेनाइजेशन ज्यादा यूज हो पाएगा.
ठीक है, गुड पॉइंट है. यस, वेरी गुड. व्हाट हैपेंड? तुम लोग क्यों सोच नहीं पा रहे हो? You said whatever they said, it's not important. You summarize then. Acha, yes, just a second. Yes, Akash, you brought a very good term, productivity. and we are more concerned about production. My question is, what is the difference between productivity and production?
सर प्रोडक्टिविटी सर पर यूनिट पे हम लोग कितना पर यूनिट इनपुट पे कितना आउटपुट दे रहे हैं वो प्रोडक्टिविटी रहेगा.
Good.
और प्रोडक्शन ओवरऑल
Overall, we are talking about the total. Productivity is per unit area. If we are talking about agriculture, कि per acre or per hectare of land, what is the production? How much is produced per unit area? That is productivity, and production as in total. So yes, see, if you will see developed countries, I was just, हाँ पहले आप लोग कुछ कह रहे थे, I'm sorry. Yes, you are raising a question on food security. What will happen? And the answer is productivity. Yes. Same. See, now coming back, growth in agriculture sector is important, not the share of agriculture in GDP. What we should be more concerned is about growth in agriculture sector than share of agriculture in GDP, because if you will see the developed countries like US, UK, the share of agriculture in their economy is hardly 1 to 2%, and they are developed and they are food self-sufficient. So what we should think more about, not the share of agriculture in GDP, rather we should think about the growth in GDP. Now, if you take the data last year, present data, agriculture's share has grown to 19.9% of GDP at a growth rate of 3.4%. I'm sorry. And this is good and dangerous at the same point of time, because if we say that our nominal growth, the growth of a country should be in 2 digits, then agriculture should grow at least at 4%. Agriculture should grow at least 4%, and we are somewhere about to achieve this target. But at the same time, there is a dangerous signal coming as of now, that the share of agriculture is increasing in GDP. Now you understand one thing. Let's say we have agrarian sector, we have industry, and let's say we have service sector. Industry, or you can write it manufacturing. Okay. Let's say in an ideal situation, we have, let's say agriculture is producing 100, this manufacturing is also producing 100, service is also producing 100. Let's say in a pre-situation, this is the case. So what is the share of everyone? 33.33%. Now, let's say, oh sorry, smart boards are dangerous for people like me. Okay, now let's say agriculture has become 400, manufacturing has become 900, and services has become, let's say in a span of 10-20 years, now the total is, well, let's say make agriculture 600, so it would be easy for you to calculate. Now the total is 2500. Now what is the share of agriculture in 2500? Somewhere around 11%, 12%. No, I'm sorry. 2.5, 600. I'm sorry, I thought 300. If I was saying 600.
Around 25%.
24%, 25 भी नहीं, ठीक है. And what is the share of this? It is 40%, 40, 20, 60.
36.
Now tell me, You can't argue in this condition, you can't argue that the share of agriculture has gone down. No, it has shown a good growth. But other sectors, obviously, other sectors have shown a better growth and their volume is increasing. Hence, their share is increasing. So this growth, note down, everyone. The share of agriculture is declining not because of decline in agriculture production, but it has declined due to increase in the growth of industrial and service sector. Though the share of agriculture has increased in past 5 years, from 17% in 2016 to 19.9% in 2021. But there is a tremendous decline when compared with share of agriculture in GDP. At the time of independence, or leave at the time of independence as share of GDP at the inception of planning, because we are talking about economic terms. At the inception of planning, when planning 5-year plan started, at the inception of planning, where it was 60% in 1950. The overall decline of agriculture sector's contribution क्या लिखा था? Contribution is a positive sign for India, as in majority of the developed nations, the share of agriculture in their GDP, is less than 5%. is less than 5%. Yes, that's it for today. सर टेंशन खत्म हुई है. Yes. Any doubt? अरे सर पहले दिन मत पूछो ये. अभी I'll tell it on the 4th day. I'll tell it on Friday. Books पढ़ने के लिए क्या पढ़ो? एक काम करो, एनसीईआरटी की ना, इसमें एनसीईआरटी की ऑल तो ज़रूरत नहीं है. 11th की पढ़ सकते हो, मतलब ठीक है. आई डोंट, I'll just say, my request to you is just for few, अभी तो starting है ना, just keep yourself calm and composed. जितना क्लास में पढ़ रहे हैं उसी को आप पढ़ लो. And although I can tell you, like Indian Economy by Ramesh Singh is a very standard book. खरीदना तुमने वही है जो बाहर मार्केट में अच्छी मिलती है, तो it's okay, you can go for that. और एक और है, उसका नाम भूल जाता है हमेशा. I forgot that another book. Ramesh Singh is any book of Ramesh Singh is okay. You can refer to that. But actually, why the books in economy are not that much relevant if you're doing proper classes? क्योंकि data change हो जाता है. If you will read one book, या तो you should be this much aware that you should keep on updating the data yourself. Like अभी हमने कुछ बात की, कुछ data हमने देखा. Obviously, by the time you will exam, everything will change. So you need to update that. खैर वो तो जब बजट और इकोनॉमिक सर्वे पढ़ेंगे तो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ थिंग्स विल बी अपडेटेड. फाइन. सो अभी एज ऑफ नाउ यू कैन टेक दैट एंड टुमारो विल कंटिन्यू विद दिस फीचर्स ऑफ इंडियन इकोनॉमी. थोड़ा सा आई जस्ट वांट दैट यू शुड बी फैमिलियर विद द टर्म्स बिफोर आई चेंज माई गियर. ओके, आई विल चेंज गियर, डोंट वरी. नहीं सर, फिर सेम स्पीड में तो सर बोलेंगे कि क्या पूरा टाइम इकोनॉमी पढ़ते रहना है. I know I'll be slow for first week. For first week I'll be slow. Don't worry. But I have to shift, na? I have to shift my gears. So I'll do that, but later, not now. So that's it for today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much. Not all. I'll see you, some of you in an hour. I'm having my history class also.